We are Debation Nation.
And today we're going to
do an actual debate.
On what? But colors. What our favorite color is. And what we're going to be doing is gauging it on its significance and its symbolism and history. And so we're going to announce our colors and head right in. What's your color?
My color is green.
Green. My color is none other than the absence of light, called black.
That's not a color. That's...
I know, but I'm using it for shorthand. To begin, we're going to start with its significance and perhaps the more ancient history. Ancient Egypt. Noah, take it away.
Okay, so in ancient Egypt, the color for green is wad, and it is the color for goodness, growth, life, the afterlife, and resurrection.
Similarly, I don't think, black is also the color of resurrection and rebirth, and it's based off of the black silt soil used and with the Nile where they would grow their crops. And so black, though usually in common context is seen as evil and things like that, actually in Egypt was a color of order and rebirth as well as imaging, communicating death, night, endurance, and even bringing order out of chaos.
Right, but green was actually the word wad is actually the word used for the papyrus plant. And green is also the symbol of the Egyptian afterlife, which was the field of reeds. And the
god of that very afterlife, Osiris, which was god of the Nile,
was depicted as green.
Have depicted as with black skin.
Osiris is the death version of Osiris was depicted with black. The resurrected Osiris in the fertility Osiris was depicted as green. So you have the negative Osiris, the bad Osiris.
But it's equally just as significant, which I would say brings us to Japan, which black is actually one of the 4 original colors in Japan, and it's part of one of the ancient color ranking systems, how they would rank individuals. Also, in Japan, it's actually thought that black cats given to single women makes them more attractive.
All right, then that's interesting. In Japan, actually, they didn't have a word for green until
it was one of the 4 original colors.
Right. They actually just assumed that green was another shade of blue, so they just put it in with blue.
Shows how unimportant it is.
Well, it's interesting, though, because they didn't actually teach green as a different, separate entity from blue until after World War II. And then that brings me to ancient Greece, which actually, they also believed that green and blue were pretty much the same thing. They used they were both the color of the sea and the color of the land.
But in contrast, black it's an individual. It's an individualistic color as opposed to your green that's taken to be blue. In Greece, black had its own individual meanings of death and mourning and things of the like. And so black actually has a more individual identity than green has thus far.
But black, those are all negative things. All you've said is negative things.
No,
like
actually,
death
I did not.
Evil
I said order out of chaos and rebirth. I also said those things. And fertility, with ancient Egypt.
Rebirth is also green, and fertility is also green. Like back to Egypt. I mean, the goddess Hathor, the Lady of the Sycamore, she was represented by green as well, and the symbol of the sycamore tree was renewal, transformation, and rebirth.
So I have both the positive and the negative, thus boosting the degree of black significance. It's not just positive, it's negative as well.
I mean, there are negative things about green, such as it's also associated with poison and sickness. So I mean, and there's also.
But does it have something to claim, such as the Black Death, the namesake in England, the plague that wiped out roughly 50 million people in the 14th century, 1347 to 51? Does it have that sort of thing with its name?
I mean, it's got the green movement right now because we're trying to, clean up our environment that's dying thanks to, plastic and whatnot. So, I mean, that's a pretty significant thing.
You know what else we have today? We have Black Friday, we have black belts, we have one of the most iconic characters in all cinema history, namely Darth Vader in his black suit that conveys power, yes, even evil, but authority, but is also the redeeming character in Episode 6. He's the point of the whole saga. One of the most iconic characters in all cinema history. Furthermore...
I mean, Yoda was green. And he was like the best character. Everyone loves Yoda.
Darth Vader was the point of the whole saga.
No, Yoda was the point of the whole saga.
No, George Lucas. He said Anakin Skywalker. It's the story of Anakin Skywalker. So furthermore, black is also one of the first recorded colors used in Paleolithic art. It was used as part of the ordering system in the Elizabethan era in England, as in by English law, it was dictated who could wear black, and those laws were called the sumptuary laws.
I mean, the same thing was actually in Japan. They had similar laws about who could wear what colors.
And I don't know if I brought that up.
Yeah, you didn't bring that up, so I was just bringing that up.
Was green one of those colors?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Black is also associated with black cats as being unlucky, but in England, they're given as wedding gifts. So we have the positive and the negative significance of black once again. And furthermore, Vanta black, which is vertically aligned nanotube array black. What is that? It's the blackest black in the world, made with nanotubes, carbon nanotubes on metal, and it absorbs 99.96% of light.
So that's not a color. The lack of light.
It absorbs
color is literally the reflection.
Reflection of light.
Refraction of light, rather.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
The refraction of light, but.
And so, but we're not using color in the strict sense.
Yeah, we kind of are. I mean, that's...
We are not using the word color in the strictest of senses. No.
It's not a color.
It is... We're not using the... Whatever.
Anyways.
So how are you going to take down the significance I've just established for black? That's my question. You have yet to bring black down.
I have brought black down this whole entire time. For one thing, it's not a color. For another thing, it's mostly connotated with bad things.
It's also associated in now fashion nowadays with elegance and slickness. So there are positive things aesthetically established with it. Power, authority, not just negative things. And as I established in ancient Egypt, bringing order out of chaos and rebirth. So it has both the positive and the negative.
But green is just mostly positive, and positivity is great. We like positivity.
The goal is significance, not just positivity. That was the criteria we set. It was significance.
I mean, green's still pretty significant today. I mean, our dollar bills are green. And also, a lot of mythical creatures were depicted as green, such as dragons.
You know who's black? Darth Vader.
Dragons, fairies, devils, they were all depicted in...
Sidious, black.
But Yoda's green, and Luke Skywalker in Episode 6 had a green lightsaber, which
and
is
there
cool.
are now things called dark sabers, which actually absorb light.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
I think it's in the Clone Wars or the Rebels. I don't know.
That's weird. I don't like that.
It's dark saber.
That's dumb.
Anyways, do you have anything more to say? Have anything...
I don't have anything else to say. I mean, we all know that black is a terrible color and that green is a delightful color. I mean, it's the color of nature. It's the color of rebirth. It's the color of It's even the color of fertility. It's the color of love in some places.
No. Rebirth. Black has the positive and the negative. Black is
Mostly
the color
negative.
of that printer. Black's the color of your laptop. Black's the color of my phone over there. Black's the color of my pants. Black's the color of my buttons, kind of.
Your shirt has green on it. It's green, I tell you, it's green. It's just like my shoe. My shoe is green. It's a green shoe.
Socks with flip-flops?
Yeah, they're comfortable.
Socks with flip-flops?
Yes, they're comfortable. This is the best
Maybe
way to...
for utilitarian purposes, but aesthetically, no.
I think they look fine. I mean, they look great. Nobody wants to see your
Perhaps
silly,
this is a
stinky
debate
feet.
for another day, like Wednesday of next week.
Yeah, if we get around to it, yeah.
If we get around to it.
Which we probably will.
Because we're Debation Nation.
We are Debation Nation.
So see you next week, and you lick that like button, subscribe on that button if you push it with your cheek.
And try and comment down below.
Who won? Because I did.
Yeah, but Green's the best, and so he meant to say that I won.
And I meant that when I won there today on that.
Just remember, green flip-flops.
Socks with sandals.